Welcome back, and the beginning of Merry Tishmas hashtag, because Christmas is coming. The lights are up as we predicted on Monday's episode. They were suddenly there all around the square, so we're ready for Christmas.
It seemed a bit drawn out, the Christmas decorations, though. I noticed them in Gray and Chantelle's house, but then I didn't see them around the rest of the square. And then day by day, more and more Christmas lights.
Kathy's cafe was on it.
Kathy's just made of Christmas, isn't she? She might as well just wrap herself in tinsel and, tinsel and Christmas trees all week, all month, all year long, because she is just Christmas kept for me.
We've got a massive Christmas shot on Friday of the square with Sharon looking at her phone, and that was Christmas.
Yeah.
In a little postcard right there for me.
And then she went to a nice dark park, and then Christmas had ended. Her mood reflected the scenery that she sat in.
It did.
First of all, she was happy in a nice lit up square, and then she was depressed in a miserable park.
That's what I want from Tishmas. That's what I want.
Depression.
Sharon
in
all
depressed
ranges.
with cream on her.
So we are going to discuss the episodes that are broadcast between the 2nd and the 6th of December. And we even had the ball and change carrying on this week. So continuity was good, and there was loads of storylines once more. I
don't think they could have got away with not having the second part of the ball and change, the wife swap, could they?
No.
Could you imagine they just dropped that out of nowhere?
I did half expect it to just disappear.
Well, no, they did. They ended it in style as well. It's reminding us of an old faithful Shirley. She returned, angry and drunk.
So before we get too carried away, who are you?
I'm Alex.
You are, and I am Ben, the main host.
I'm just the poo on your shoe, as we've mentioned a few times before. I've got some news. Hold your breath, pun intended, because anyone expecting Janine to return back to the square, don't get your hopes up too much. Don't be heading to William Hill betting shop just yet and putting that £10 down on a Janine return this Christmas, because unfortunately news has broken that Charlie Brooks has signed up for a new mini-series that's being filmed in Australia.
Oh, God.
So I don't expect her to pop back anytime soon. And my pun at the beginning of this section is the fact that the programme is going to be called Breathless. So they haven't recorded anything. It seems a bit preemptive to give a title of a TV series before they've even recorded a scene yet.
It shows that they know the direction, though.
What, this 4-part mini-series?
Yeah. So that counts as out Janine then, really, for us, doesn't it, really?
It does. Basically, Janine, I don't expect to see Janine on our screens at any point, I would say, for at least another 6 months now, because she'll be filming.
It's only about a year, if not more.
No, it's only a 4-part miniseries.
Yeah, but it's in Australia.
Well, I know, but it doesn't take that long to... She doesn't... It's like the old colloquial days when she has to take a ship and take 3 months to get there and back again. I'm sure she'll fly.
No, Janine's not going to come back. So that means the Slater house has already been sold by Janine. So I wonder if it's going to be mentioned.
Well, I think it might be. I think if anyone wants a clue of what's happening with the Slater house, they should maybe check out our YouTube channel and watch the spoilers that are coming up. Obviously, if you don't like to know what's coming up on the soap, probably best you don't check the channel. But
don't watch a spoiler.
1,000 subscribers strong, can't go wrong. We'd like to thank everyone, by the way, for anyone who has subscribed to the YouTube channel. We're really thankful that we've broken the first milestone, and we're hoping it is the first of many. And do keep watching our videos, because we've got lots and lots more coming up, and a few surprises also coming too, which we will announce in a few episodes' time.
Ooh, how mysterious. So shall we get going with our recap then, because we're going to start off with honey.
Tasty. Can't have any of that.
A lot of people I've saw saying this was the best of honey that we've seen ever.
Really popular, actually, the story. I think it was because it stopped her being this downtrodden character where she was just being manipulated and bullied. Because to a certain degree, Billy also kind of just manipulated her and bullied too. And to see this out and out character that does have this strong and independence, and it was a shame that she had to rely so heavily on this disorder, this food disorder that she was having, her bulimia, and it got spotted straight away by Ash last week. Ash and Iqra have become almost support network for her now, and she's finally found that people do care about her. Mick, first of all, a few weeks ago, started showing his support. Iqra and Ash now showing their support. So Honey realised that actually there are people out there who care about her, and so she can.
And they call her Honey.
Yes. I know that. I found that a bit strange that she was like so offended. It's like, my friends call me Honey, and it's like
people
not Susan.
Care about me, yeah.
Not Susan. And it's like that seems a bit tough, because the story 6, 7, 8 months ago when Adam was first introduced was calling her Susan, Billy got really upset because he was using her proper name, and so he was jealous that that Adam was allowed, almost given permission by Honey to use her proper name. But now we're learning that Honey actually didn't like it from the get-go. So it's like,
yeah. Well, with this storyline, you can't think more than 3 months back at a time. I don't think you're allowed.
But it's been a year. It's been over a year.
I
This
know.
story.
Can you believe that?
Stoking that fire.
I mean, I found it interesting that Adam revealed that he knew she was bulimic this whole time and just literally didn't care, which made him even more horrible than ever before.
Yeah, that's really evil that he realised that his fiance? No, it wasn't. They never got engaged. But yes,
very close.
Yeah, this relationship he was having, and he didn't ask her outright. Ash asked her after one evening. Someone who barely knew her. Are you okay? That's all it was, really. That's what the question was. It wasn't, are you bulimic? It's, are you okay? And
so you thought he was horrible, but actually,
because he didn't care,
even more horrible. He actually knew this was happening and didn't seem to care or want to do anything about it.
He just didn't care. I mean, he was kind of making out that what he was doing, which is like sleeping with lots of women, was his illness, and so he, you can't blame me for what I'm doing. This is my illness. This is my burden to share. And almost as if then he was telling Honey that she should feel sorry for him. But Honey quite rightly said, "Well, no, I don't, because you don't care about me. So why should I care about you?"
I mean, Honey's last straw was finding out about Sally, the personal assistant / receptionist who didn't exist.
Are you sure you don't mean Jonathan? I think
that was another one, wasn't it?
I know. When as soon as she said, "Oh, I thought it was Jonathan," I thought, "Hello, this is taking a bit of a twist." Is Adam bisexual? Is he a bit fluid? Is he going for male and female receptionist now?
Yeah, possibly. But that was her last straw, and she decided to shun him in front of the whole community at the ball and chain thing.
Yeah, and that's when Mick kind of encouraged it as well. "Go on, darling, you carry on."
I quite liked Mick and Honey's friendship they've been creating the past few weeks. They seem to get on quite well. Mick seems to have quite a lot of chemistry with these other women, but not Linda at the moment.
No, really bad. But Linda's noticing this as well, isn't it? So we'll talk about Linda and Mick later on the show. Keep listening for that. But it's as you say, Mick seems to be able to find a bond with all these other women, and
it's not Elle.
It's not
his Elle.
No, which is meant to be his lifelong partner.
But we saw Honey packing up, and we thought, oh, she's packing up. But no, she's strong-headed Honey. She had a few words with him. She threw a bin in his face.
Yeah, that was
the bin
funny.
Storyline's back.
Yeah.
There's not a year that goes by we don't have a bin storyline.
This time Phil didn't fall into him. The bin actually fell into someone else.
Yeah, and I found it interesting that Iqra and Ash were there to witness, but Habiba wasn't, which I thought was a bit of a shame, seeing as originally this storyline was meant to be the Habiba affair thing. So I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity. Habiba seems to have been missing in action recently.
Yeah, she's not really doing much, is she? But then I guess the actress is just not about to film these scenes.
No excuse.
No.
Honey's on Strictly and she was there.
Yeah, she was. She was.
But it just feels like a bit of Habiba doesn't really matter in this storyline. It's like the ongoing thing of this story where I think it's changed paths or directions about 3 times.
Maybe Habiba has just washed her hands of Adam and doesn't really want anything to do with him, and so Iqra kind of put it upon herself to out Adam this final time. I mean, Iqra's well within her right to do it, because Adam has just been so nasty to all of her family and people who she's close with, and it's there's no excuse for anything that Adam had done. And so, because she deliberately had said the stuff she said in the Vic when she was saying about, oh, how is Adam with his new secretary, and he kind of deliberately dropped little hints. So it was obvious that Iqra had planned.
That's because Iqra's no BS, you see.
But
what you see is what you get with Iqra.
Yeah, but obviously Ash and Iqra had this discussion and had come forward with this idea that they were going to basically out Adam that night, and that was it.
I found it interesting as well how Ash, because Iqra was going to punch Adam one for Honey, and Ash took her and said no, Honey can deal with this. And I thought that was really interesting that Ash has only known Honey for a few days with that wife swap thing. She worked Honey out enough to know that she is strong enough to do it on her own, and she didn't need someone jumping in for her. So I thought that was a really nice moment for Ash.
Ash is a really interesting character, because she seems to be this
good head on her shoulders.
She has she's almost a bit like Bailey, the fact that she can watch things from the outside in and analyse it and assess it, but perhaps soon we're going to find out that Ash's own troubles are going to be a much more difficult thing for her to assess. maybe she's going to find her. Well, she's already shown it with her brothers that she's
one of those people who was like good at giving advice, but not taking her own. I guess maybe.
Yeah, and also handling her own problems. So
she did stand up to her brother last week, KheeRat. So
she did, but it was only.
I don't need you.
Yeah, but that's just a small fight. There's still the big fight about her mother, isn't there? And
that's true.
They're trying to get her to come back. But again, that's kind of very quiet. They've said that they want her to live with them, but they haven't. Again, there's not shown much indication of why they're so desperate for her to get to make amends with her mum.
What we've been fearing with this Honey storyline is that the second this Adam one's over, which that was apparently his last episode, so he's gone now. For good. Adam, bye-bye. But we always feared, we thought we don't want her to run straight back into Billy and become a background character again, which it seems like that's the kind of direction they're wanting to go in, because the first thing Honey did was go back to Billy and say, can I move in with you? I don't want to be in Adam's flat. It's all his things.
And seemed quite disappointed that Billy said that he had no expectations, which is what Honey would want to hear. Until now, and as soon as he said that and they hugged, kind of like reconciliate with one another, you could see Honey's face of disappointment was immediate. So she was quite upset that she wasn't going to get. She obviously thought that Billy was an easy win.
Yeah, just go back in.
Yeah, just go straight back in. Here are the kids. Let's all have a nice happy family again. Poor old Jay. Poor old Jay is being stuck again in this unit, this Mitchell unit of family. So Jay's bachelor pad is beginning to just destroy itself.
He needs to get out of that flat.
Yeah.
But obviously Karen came downstairs because Billy, apparently they've gotten together off screen and she's been sleeping with him.
No, it was quite obvious it was going to happen because,
Billy... Not like that much, was it?
Yeah, Billy helped Karen out by stopping her debt, which is a story in itself later on.
Oh, yeah.
And then when Karen thanked Billy, she kissed him on the mouth.
Oh, I was going to say something else then.
Yeah, kissed him on his... No. And
we did hear about Billy's little sausage, though, this week. So.
Oh, did we? I don't remember that.
Yeah, because Jay didn't want to see it again. Remember?
Oh, that's when he had his West Ham dressing gown on. So you're going to keep little Billy. Keep little Billy under wraps.
She kissed little Billy.
She kissed... Yeah. She kissed little Billy, and then Big Billy got a bit shy. And, basically the next morning he's dancing to Walking on Sunshine and frying up bacon and making 2 cups of tea. But Jay, it's so funny that Jay didn't work out that obviously he's made 2 cups of tea, cooked a bit too much bacon, didn't realise perhaps he's got someone in the house.
It's because the likelihood of Billy having someone up there is just so nothing that it didn't even trigger in Jay's mind.
I mean, I was really excited about Karen and Billy's story, but when later on in the episode when you saw them sat on the sofa together, so Honey and Billy,
didn't like that.
Yeah, Billy and Karen didn't seem to actually click for me.
No.
It didn't seem to.
And I didn't like how Honey was sitting there all like prim and proper again all of a sudden.
Yes.
Like, why has she gone straight back to being like judgy all of a sudden? It was really off for me.
This is the thing, isn't it? It's like Honey ultimately, yes, she left Billy because Billy had slept with Tina on the night of their daughter getting knocked down by a car. Everyday stuff.
Last Halloween.
Standard. But now Honey feels, I don't know, it seemed weird that Honey was always kind of leaning back toward Billy, even when she was in this relationship with Adam. And now she's got the chance, as you say, she seems to be almost snobby with it. It's like it's almost her right now to be with Billy.
Yeah. And it's like she moved on, but Billy obviously is not allowed to.
Yeah. So she's tried something different, didn't like it, come back to Billy. But Billy, if Billy,
he's not there waiting for her.
That's right. If he's not allowed to deviate from the plan, which is Honey's plan.
And Karen wasn't being like bitchy towards Honey. She was being fairly nice and friendly, I thought. But Honey was just there like with a cup of tea and all prim and proper. It's like, oh, you've kind of gone back to what Honey was. Like we were fearing. This is basically what Honey was when she sits in the Minute Mart and does a few lines of being posh and then not seen for 8 weeks. Yeah,
because Billy, to his credit, can be a bit of a lapdog for old Honey. Like he does go out of his way to make sure that Honey, and he said that Honey was the one and Honey's the one he's going to get back, and he's finally moved on from Honey and now she wants him back, and it feels a bit unfair, I think.
I would have liked to seen Honey not pursue Billy straight away and just have Honey as a single person for a bit, and like maybe just have a friendship with Ash or something.
I must say I like that it's the fact that Honey is chasing Billy now, but at the same time, I wish it was a kind of a mutual thing rather than someone has to chase someone else. Because normally it's Billy, but the whole time it's been Billy chasing Honey. Billy's then kind of, after being told numerous occasions, get over it now, by Honey herself as well. It's like, this is it, this is over. And so he finally has, and now he's being sucked back into it again. And so I feel a bit sad for Billy because, like, he's finally gotten over it. And now he's just being pulled back in again. And it's like, well, no, I don't want Billy and Honey to be back together.
It's just a repeat, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd much rather that they stayed as really good friends and that they have their own stories now and they have their own separate stories.
Lives.
Yeah.
Right, so let's move on and chat about the other couple from the ball and chain, which was obviously Sheree and Denise. She's trying to get information from
Sheree and
Kush.
Denise were a couple on the ball and chain.
No, but Sheree and
Kush.
And then he was giving her advice on how to handle
Denise, yeah.
How to handle her.
That would have been interesting if it would have been Sheree and Denise. Don't you think?
Yeah.
That would have been a good little twist. But I do like that Kush was instructing Sheree with the right moves of how to tame the Denise and how to basically kind of stroke her the right way to make her purr.
Just be firm. Firm hand, but fair.
Harsh but fair. Harsh but fair.
And then we also obviously had the Jags storyline.
Yeah, that was a treat. Wasn't it? That was a real treat.
So we're meant to feel kind of sorry for Jags because KheeRat basically said, if you don't get me more work in this gold mine that we've got here, you don't get to come home. I'm going to lock the door and you're going to sleep on the porch, Jags. And he had his little puppy dog face at his brother.
Like Dino from the Flintstones.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay, right, I've got to do this. So he sort of targeted the hair salon in his next venture for rat droppings.
Yeah.
And he had his swagger of his conversation. Just the way he's written is not it.
He's
not a real person.
Oh.
But he basically booked a haircut with Sheree and then put rat droppings in the corner. And then when he came back for his hair appointment, he said,
"Yeah,
oh, what's that? Rat dropping?"
He had a jar of rat droppings in his inner jacket pocket.
Yeah.
But why? How do you? Right. Okay. So they must own a rat, obviously, because they are rat catchers. So, but
we think so, yeah.
So they don't poison them, which is a tick on my box. So it's not. It's humane. The way they do it.
They keep them.
These fictitious rats that they keep telling. Yeah,
maybe Jags has loads of pet rats. It's his thing.
Or do you reckon he just seems like the kind of guy who has loads of pet rats? Yeah, he sits at home and just strokes his rats and tells them his day. I had a really great day today.
At least we didn't have any eating jokes this week for him, so that's good. That's progress.
They did have an eating joke. They were in the cafe and I think he was kind of pushing food around. I can't remember. I don't really pay attention.
But Sheree, I love Sheree, so I hope she doesn't turn out to be evil. We'll talk about that in a minute. But she worked him out straight away, chucked him out. Yeah, sling zook.
I was feeling the vibes from Sheree.
Sheree was the nation.
I was channeling Sheree that moment. Yeah. I was like, yeah, kick him out, kick him off.
But poor Jags, did he sleep cold that night then? Did KheeRat not let him in?
I'm sure it was a false.
No, I bet KheeRat didn't let him in, but then he goes around the back and throws a stone at Vinny's bedroom. And Vinny's the soft brother. He's like, yeah, you can come up. I'll let you in.
Up the ladder. He wouldn't be able to climb it. He'd be like, I don't know how to climb a ladder.
I imagine that's what happened to Jags, because he didn't get his... Well, he did get his work, actually, because Denise would
insisted.
rather play on Jags' heart rather than Sheree.
Well, Sheree confided in Patrick and said, "Oh, you never guessed these con artists. They were telling us, that we had rats in the salon." And Denise overheard and said, "Well, you didn't tell me about this." And Sheree quite honestly said, "Well, it was your day off, so I didn't think you cared because you told me to open up the shop." And it's like Denise is being a bit, middle management, isn't she? Even though she owns the salon, she feels as though she feels as though she can push her. She feels as though she can be quite heavy-handed with her approach of management. And so, unfairly, kind of just, even though they made this truce, her and Sheree, she seems to be pushing her, her agenda on her.
Pushing her weight around. And she's not even, got any experience in a salon, unlike our Sheree, who does. So she has more clout. And are we forgetting that Patrick also owns part of this? But he seems to just not care or want anything to do with it.
He's a silent partner, isn't he?
Maybe Denise should be.
Someone needs to run that blooming place because it doesn't seem to have any direction. It doesn't have any direction. How many staff are there compared to how many people actually go there to get their haircut? And then how many staff actually work there on one given day? Mitch is meant to work there. Never see him there. Chantelle is now a strong independent woman. Click finger. Doesn't work there. Lola is meant to be a trainee there who's been training to do hairdressing for 5-6 years
but every
now?
time if someone asks for her, she goes, no.
Yeah,
no, I'm not good enough.
I can't crimple hair. How am I meant to crimple hair? Can't do that. Yeah, and so this salon seems to have the business presence of Denise doesn't warrant her style of management. Let's just say.
And now they've got rats.
Now they have Jags, who's the king rat. All he needs is a few whiskers attached to his nose, and he could
fit right in.
You know, they've done that Cats film where they kind of CGI'd cat people in a really weird and creepy way. They wouldn't need to do that with Jags as a rat. Just put some whiskers on his nose and he'll be there.
I mean, but we're also forgetting, like, about 3 or maybe 4 months ago, it seems like, we had that one scene of Sheree on the phone to someone mysterious, saying something mysterious about letting someone know about something. Since that one scene we had...
I'm glad we cleared that up, Ben. Something mysterious about something saying something about something.
We've had nothing of that since that one scene. So are we getting anything from Sheree, or is that another thing that's been sort of changed because she's been popular, so they're going to make her stay on?
Change the story and make her out to actually be an okay character. And Denise was wrong.
Yeah, because it's weird they hinted at that, like literally months ago.
It was hinting at the fact that she was had married Patrick for some kind of cash boost or bonus, or because she was walking around the house kind of looking at the trimmings and going, oh yes, I could get this much for that and this much for that. And now that's kind of been forgotten. And now she's become this kind of very strong character who is almost Denise's equal. Because I can see Sheree and Denise actually ending up being really good friends and being kind of like sisters almost. And it's just, I don't know, it's really strange. Although,
I'm wondering if it's taken on, remember when Kim was here and she was having the same rivalry with Kim and Chantelle? It's because of Kim's sudden absence they've put the Denise and Sheree storyline onto them, like
maybe,
what was meant to be.
But Kim's on the way back.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, I should have said that the other way around.
Woohoo.
I love Kim and I can't wait for her to come back. Again, watch my YouTube video on my tier list characters. I do enjoy a bit of Kim and I'm happy that she's coming back. Is that another, is that kind of going to bring the Sheree story back into
maybe Kim will work it all out and then that'll be that.
So maybe they're just waiting for Kim's return to then, so that since the actress announced she's coming back, maybe they're just kind of putting it on the back burner for a moment until her return.
So anyway, while we're talking about Chantelle, she also had a mini storyline this week with Gray, because we had a home therapy session apparently, which it can be arranged.
Well, it's very irregular, as the therapist said herself. But they didn't have room for an extra set this week because they're using the hospital set. I see. So they had to. There's not infinite room. There's only a finite amount of room in that studio complex. And so you can't have a therapy office, for instance, if you're going to have a hospital ward.
Useless therapist.
No, that's unfair. I don't think she was useless. I think she was confusingly stopped very quickly by Chantelle after Gray gave his admission to why his anger is the way it is. And I think Chantelle, kind of silly, was because she stopped it almost to think that that's it. He's admitted it now in front of me. We're all cured. That's all fine.
She didn't want him to let out too much at once, I guess. But
I think that Chantelle felt like he's done what she wants him to do, which is admit to a third party that he has hit her, and now that's enough. He won't do it anymore, and it seemed a bit like that's not really how it works, Chantelle. He should continue his therapy sessions. I don't think they said that he had stopped them, but it seems that was the general hint for me.
And he spun quite a tale about his upbringing and his father, who had been aggressive.
Well, and abusive to him and his mother.
Yeah, but his mum never left him for it. It was something like that, wasn't it?
Yes, and then Gray was angry because he knew that his mother was stronger than she thought she was, which I think channeled Chantelle and really hit a nerve for Chantelle when he said that, because I think cleverly, maybe if Gray was being clever with it and he said it on purpose, he knew that would be something that really would strike Chantelle and herself. She would make a comparison with herself with that, almost, because he keeps saying that he doesn't want her to leave. Remember a few weeks ago we said it was interesting that he said that I'm scared that you're going to leave, and she said I will never leave you. And then this week he says that he always thought his mother was too strong and it was better than to stay with her husband. And I just thought that's an interesting comparison. And I think that was, if Gray is up to no good and he's up to tricks, then it's almost did that as a deliberate.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think that story was true that she was telling, or was it partly true, or was it just all completely made up to make Chantelle think that he's...
But for the reason why he treats her the way he does. I hope it's true, because that's a hell of a story to kind of just on a whim just make up and just spontaneously think of. But then, Gray's very quick at spinning lies and manipulating people and he knows how to do it. It completely dependent, and I must say I think this is brilliant how the program's doing it and the writers are creating it. We don't really know what the story is heading. Is it heading toward? Are we heading toward an abusive storyline, full out, abuse, or are we going toward seeing the steps it takes for someone to recover from abuse? Both parties, so the abused and the abuser and the abused.
Yeah, but it's very tricky, isn't it? Like, recover, like a redemption thing for an abuse like that. They can't have Chantelle stay with him. Even if he does get help, she needs to leave him.
Oh no, I agree with you. I think that ultimately Gray isn't a character that we could ever keep on the soap and say, oh, it's okay, he was an abuser, but he's not anymore. They could never do that anymore.
That's a tricky thing, isn't it? But are they trying to do that, or?
I don't know. That's my point.
Or
I think
just having us understand Gray, but at the same time, he's still.
But it does sound awful me saying this, but I like that they're trying to put another side to it. Yeah, they're showing it from Gray's perspective. It's just that at the moment we're seeing it from Gray's perspective, but we still don't trust Gray enough to know if what his perspective is real or not. And so it'd be nice and interesting if we could, maybe if his father is still alive, if his father would come onto the show, for instance, and we could see how his relationship is with his father. If you see that his father is as abusive as, say, Callum and Stuart's father was abusive to them, then it kind of explains that when they did that with Stuart, it softened Stuart a little bit, because you saw that Stuart always had to stand up. You always heard that Stuart had to stand up for Callum against his father, but you never really saw it. When you saw it in practice, it again gave Stuart an extra dimension and different side that made him more of a rounded character. Maybe with Gray, we need to see something from his past that would then make us understand why he is the way he is. Doesn't make it right that's the way he is, but it means that we could find a route where we could understand or have some kind of understanding of why he is hurting and abusive to Chantelle. But I mean, this is the thing. Gray's not really only manipulating Chantelle at the moment. He's also manipulating the audience, because we don't really know what he's doing is true or not. And so that's why I said the writing and the production is very good. And I'm really enjoying what we're getting out of Chantelle and Gray at the moment.
Yeah, and I also wonder as well if, obviously they've got 2 young kids, if we're ever going to sort of see if the kids have picked up on this. Because kids always tend to the parents think they're not picking up on things, but kids always do. Maybe are we going to see like Gray realise that the kids are seeing him like he saw his dad, and maybe that will be some sort of
that could be the catalyst,
something like that. Yeah. But they've got these 2 kids. There must be a reason why they brought them in as a family like this. So I wonder if maybe the kids are gonna come into it.
Gray's quite clever, because I can't think of an instance when Gray had abused Chantelle when the kids were in the house. No, but they were always out the house.
Yeah, but even if they are out the house, kids still pick up on feelings or things in the house. Kids can still pick up on it even if they don't physically see that, or if they're not even there when it's happening, or if they're upstairs when it's happening.
I imagine this scene where perhaps when Gray's mask does slip by accident in front of the kids, but the kids are upstairs or something, and you see the abuse begins, and then you see a scene upstairs, and you just see the 2 kids sitting on the floor together, kind of holding each other's hands.
They look at each other like, oh, here it is again.
This is happening again, and you just hear the screaming from downstairs or the shouts from downstairs. That'd be nice. That's awful. That'd be a nice scene.
Lovely.
I mean, that was heartfelt. Yeah, like another aspect to it, because we've had this storyline a few times on EastEnders.
Obviously, this is doing it very differently. So that would be, because none of the people who've been abused have really had kids around them.
No.
Obviously, Carmel had Junior, and Junior ended up stabbing whatever his name was.
Mike, was it?
I can't remember. Leather jacket guy.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see if how the kids are affected by this, and how that affects Gray knowing that the kids know. Because
the kids are much younger than what Junior was. But we must always remember also Jean spotted Chantelle's pain, and she knows. So I don't think we've completely finished with the abuse story.
And Ash knows as well. Remember the doctor, because she was there.
Oh yeah, that's true. We
don't know how good Ash is.
Ash is very good at helping people out. But yeah, you're right. It'd be an interesting spin if we can see it from the kids' perspective, perhaps, and maybe the kids will be the ones who eventually give Gray up somehow. We shall see.
We will. Let's go on to our first game, and then we'll be back for some more.
Okay, let's get it going for a bit of 5-a-day goodness. It's Martin Fowler's market stall again. We're revisiting him. Looks a bit... Well, he's not there, actually.
No, it's a bit
barren, a bit
let
empty.
go, yeah.
It's not what it used to be. But so for today, we'll call it
Pete Bills.
Pete Bills 5 a day. Pete Bills 5 a day. So any new listeners to the show, quick recap of the rules. Basically, I'm going to give Ben a question or a statement, and Ben has to give me 5 answers relating to that question or statement in 30 seconds. Easy as that.
Yeah, easy.
Easy peasy. Are you ready, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. And hope you guys are going to join in at home too. Many characters on the square have had children whilst they were still very, very young. And what I want you to do, Ben, is name current characters on the soap of EastEnders, obviously, that had children when they were 18 years or younger. So when they were teenagers.
Okay.
Current characters only. So
rules out Michelle.
Exactly where I was heading with that. Or Ronnie Mitchell.
Oh yeah, she's dead.
She is. A tragic death. They can be male or female characters too. So they don't have to have given birth, but they would have had to initiate the act in order for a baby to be produced. That's very medical.
So can I name the mum and the dad of one child?
If you want to. That's one way of doing it. There is, I think there's a couple there. There is a couple there that you can do that too.
Okay.
So are you ready? In 30 seconds, name as many current characters who have had children when they were teenagers, starting from now.
I don't know about this. Linda Carter.
Correct.
Mick Carter then.
Correct.
Sonia Fowler.
Correct.
Martin Fowler.
He wasn't a teenager when he gave
God's sake.
You're thinking along the same lines though. Think of a couple.
Who's got a kid? Karen, maybe?
No.
Chantelle.
No.
Louise.
You're
she's
missing
just
a very
birth.
Obvious one.
Louise is giving
Louise
birth
is accepted,
this
yes, because
week.
she will be. Yes, that's it. I think time's up then.
Okay, yeah.
You missed an obvious one, and I'm shocked that you didn't know it. Oh, Kathy.
Oh, yeah.
Kathy
Current
Bill.
Character, yeah.
Kathy Bill.
Don't think of her as a mother.
No, Kathy Bill. Max Branning. He had Bradley at 18.
Oh.
Obviously, not with Tanya. It was another woman. The floozy.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Shirley Carter.
Oh, yeah, she had Mick.
Mm-hmm. Tina Carter.
Oh, yeah, Zaza.
Something about the Carters, isn't there? Talking about a family bloodline. Ben Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, Lola.
Lola. Told you think of a couple. And then there's one more. Again, really obvious one. I bet you a few listeners are screaming at you for this
Billy?
one.
I don't know.
No, Kat Slater.
Oh, of course. I thought Kat, but then I thought they're all kids. But Zoe, and of course there's Zoe. Oh, yes, so annoying.
There you go. So it was very doable. So there you go. They're all current characters. They're all current characters who have had children. It says something about our birth rate in the UK a bit, doesn't it? But well done, Ben. You got 4. 4 out of 5.
Bad.
That's very good. Gonna rate yourself?
4 out of 5.
Okay, that's your rating, is it 4? Lovely. All right, then let us know how you got on with Pete Bill's 5 a day.
So we're here still in mourning because it's Mel's funeral. Believe it or not, that was this week.
I know.
So long ago, poor Mel.
Goodness, seems like an eternity.
And we're on the sort of build-up, if you can call it that, for the Christmas storyline. For the Keanu explosion. And how are you finding the build-up to Christmas?
Slow. Slow and somewhat drawn out.
Yeah.
It's like the writers seem to have suddenly had a shock realization that, oh, hang on, we're not doing block storytelling anymore.
Left, yeah.
we can't just do nothing for the next 3 weeks and then suddenly have a Christmas eruption. We're going to actually have to fill in a few more gaps before we can go that far.
It made me laugh how Lisa did her Phil, that's not your baby speak thing again, and they all acted like it was the first time they heard this, but a few weeks ago Lisa shouted out to them in their kitchen.
No, Phil already knew, because Phil spent the whole funeral episode suspecting why Sharon was doing what she was doing. So when Phil found out that she had paid for the funeral, that was the first ping moment in Phil's head. Well, why is she paying for that? I don't know why she'd do that. Then he saw her hugging Jack after he said, you've done nothing wrong, you're a hero, you shouldn't feel so upset.
Yeah, everyone was giving her free drinks, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They were all congratulating her for just being a stand-up woman.
At Mel's wedding.
Yeah.
At Mel's funeral.
At Mel's funeral, yeah.
Well done, Sharon.
Which was winding Lisa up even more, because Sharon was basically taking centre stage from the woman who clearly she hated.
I didn't enjoy the one line from Ian saying Mel's dad and brother would have liked this spread, and then walked off again. It's like, okay.
Oh, thanks
that's all
for
you're
reminding
giving us, is
yeah.
it?
But they were at the funeral.
Yes, that's true. They were.
But they just couldn't. They couldn't stay for the wake.
Couldn't pay for it either.
Well, no, they couldn't. They just didn't have the time or the money or the patience to stay for their, own daughter or sister's funeral.
So that annoyed me, but I guess it was mentioned at least.
I felt a bit sorry for I'd hate to be Tamsin Elthwaite sat at home, sitting there thinking, none of my family care.
But the Keanu storyline seemed to have like been stopped. Like the Mel car crash week was so like amazing, and we said it felt like Christmas episode. Now it's like, it feels a bit drab now. Mel's not there.
It's a shame. I think if we could kind of move scenes around a little bit, as you said, the chase week would have been better suited. Yeah, the week before Christmas. So then the Lisa's revelation could have been the first, the beginning of the week of Christmas, and then because I think Christmas is on Wednesday, isn't it? So Wednesday's episode will be the obviously Christmas Day episode. So Monday could have been the when Lisa first says, "Oh, you killed my friend," because she knew that wasn't Phil's baby. Phil can then do a bit of his sleuthing and investigations by Tuesday, and then on Wednesday the Christmas episode. See,
it's
easy. So easy. Well, no, Mel's funeral could have been afterwards.
Or Mel could have been in a coma or something.
Yeah. Because that's what we all thought was going to happen. We thought that Mel was just going to be asleep then for 3 weeks. Because it made a bit more logical sense that if you had this still impending danger, that Sharon could still be, scooting around the square trying to kind of put out fires left, right and centre. But
and Mel wakes up.
Yeah.
I knew who the baby is.
Yeah, exactly. She could be like Mercedes and Hollyoaks. Oh, hello. Is this our one reference every episode?
Yes, see, that's Hollyoaks got it right, you see. Put her in a coma for a bit. She wakes up with a secret.
Yeah.
That's what Mel should have done.
That's it. That's all they needed to do. A coma can sign off so many sins in a soap. It's just simple. The character wants to have a 3-month rest? Fair enough. Put him in a coma.
But
they should have done that with Abby Branning, you see.
They should have never killed Abby. Don't even get me started.
No.
2 years. R.I.P. But obviously we've got that thing of, is Lisa on her meds? And she's sort of starting to think, okay, maybe I am going a bit crazy, so I'll check myself in after the advice from Jack.
Yes, which almost seems like Jack was in cahoots with Sharon, doesn't it? Because everything Jack does seems to benefit Sharon in one way or another. So you can kind of understand why, looking from the outside in, Phil would think that Jack has some kind of...
They were engaged once.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's peppered his seed on Sharon after all.
I hate the word seed.
Why?
Disgusting.
Plant the seed.
I don't want to think about Jack's seeds. But Phil does some sleuthing because he goes into
Mighty Oaks.
He does. He's impregnated all the blondes of Wolford, all the Mitchells.
There you go. So Sharon
might as well.
Next one on his list.
No wonder he's on Phil's list. But Phil went into the house of Lisa and Mel's house to sort of check up to see if he can find any clues.
Concrete evidence.
But her pill box is in top order.
Concrete evidence. I mean, to be fair, if Lisa was in that kind of mood and that kind of state that everyone seems to think she's in, then surely she could have easily manipulated it to look like she was still keeping up with her meds.
I don't know, that's very premeditated planning, isn't it?
But obviously we know that Lisa hasn't, but if Lisa is this fruit nutcake that, Phil keeps babbling on about, because did you not notice this week that Phil seemed to defend Lisa a lot? Like he defended her in front of Dennis.
Yeah, she looked me in the eyes.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, don't be horrible. She's mentally unwell. You shouldn't speak to about someone in that way." When Dennis had that video and he was like wanting to be a YouTube star because Dennis, and also he defended Lisa to Louise as well, which is really unlike Phil. Phil was the first one to kind of throw the accusations at Lisa being a bit loopy, and now he's kind of completely turned over this whole new thought process.
You know why that is, don't you? Well, this week they've written Phil differently this week.
He's very caring, wasn't he?
Yeah. They've done that because they want us to be on Phil's side on Christmas Day. So they've all of a sudden they're like, we better make the viewers feel sympathy for Phil. Let's do all these scenes for him, make him feel human again. That's why they've done that, because he had one with Ben as well.
Yes.
In hospital. But that's why they're doing that with Phil, because they want us to be on Team Phil when all the secrets come out. But I'm not. I'm on Team Sharon.
Are you?
The expert liar who can just sit there and lie blank faced to Phil with no second thoughts.
Threaten to throw coffee pot lids at people who talk about her in the cafe. That's our Shazza.
I mean, she even said to Phil, "I'll do a paternity test if you want to prove it." It's like
double bluff. Yeah. I mean, I'd be interested to know our listeners on Twitter. Join in with us. Put hashtag Team Phil or hashtag Team Shazza.
Shazza?
Yeah.
Team Sharon, please.
Oh, okay, sorry. We're classy, are we? Are we honeying it up, are we?
We are.
Okay. Or hashtag Team Sharon on your tweets when you tweet out about EastEnders this week, and let us know how you're feeling throughout the show. And if we see them, we'll give you a little wink and a nod and a hello.
We also had Louise taking the limelight because not enough attention was on her.
Mm.
So she went into early labour, so everything was back on her again.
She has to make it about her somehow. She was running out of time for a week's worth of episode without her, and so she thought, oh, hang on. Oh, here it comes.
But it's nice she wanted Sharon there. If my mum can't be here, I want Sharon.
I thought that was really sweet too. But again, showing how much trust Louise has in Sharon. This trust that is just waiting to be broken, destroyed between them.
And also Sharon never came.
No, well, she was busy seeing her mum. That was Lisa in the psych ward because she's obviously admitted
she
herself.
Didn't even tell Lisa. Did she even know? Did anyone tell Sharon that Louise was in labour?
No, because Sharon didn't know that she was in labour.
No one could text her then.
But this is the strange thing about EastEnders, isn't it? That people
they
will
could text
phone...
Ben.
Yeah, they could text Ben, but Sharon knows no importance at all. But I'm guessing that Sharon may have turned her phone off. I don't know.
Right.
Well, Phil did say he tried to phone Sharon and she wasn't answering, so presumably she put it somewhere or forgot about it.
Ballsy Sharon, she went to see Lisa straight on, head on.
Yeah.
Delivering more pills with her bags.
I brought you medication.
And she sort of... Phil outright asked her about Jack.
And
she sort of went, no.
Well, no, she wasn't lying, was she? She was very clever with the way she answered Phil.
It's not Jack.
Yeah, because Phil said, like, is that my baby? And then he said, or is it Jack's? And then Sharon said, I'm telling you now, Phil, it's not Jack's. So she's being very clever with what she's saying.
She's got experience.
She has. Oh, she knows how to lie through her teeth.
But obviously she's thinking, right, this is still getting messy. And so she clever plan, I'm not sure, but she tells Lisa,
I don't think it's a plan. I don't think it's a plan. I think that Sharon's
like a bluff.
No, I don't. I think this is desperate for Sharon. Basically, she just has to get it off her chest.
No.
Yep, she's lived this lie for months and months and months, years almost. If you think about having the affair with Keanu in the first place,
a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, and it's. I think in a funny way, I think for Sharon, it's almost a relief that she can now confide with someone and actually share this with someone who she can comfortably share it with. With Mel, she couldn't because Mel was there to blackmail her. Mel blamed her for the death of her son. With Lisa, I think she's desperately trying to find this understanding side, this camaraderie that they used to have years ago when Sharon lied for Lisa that time about Louise's father, and so I think, yes, at the end of it, Sharon kind of threw a threat saying, I don't think you'll ever tell Phil because it's Keanu's, but I think, for me anyway, that Sharon used this as a catharsism and just a way to get it off her chest. It's almost a relief for her.
No way.
Yeah.
She's lived with secrets longer than that before.
Yeah, but Sharon's much older and wiser.
And pregnant.
Yeah, and much more pregnant.
No, she was doing it because she thought Lisa won't now announce it because it will hurt her daughter. That's why. She's hoping, pinning her hopes on that Lisa won't want to hurt Louise, so she won't reveal the secret.
That's a shame, though, because I hate the Sharon manipulation.
Well, someone's going to reveal the secret. We
know this for sure.
So it must be Lisa. She must just think, oh, blow you.
But do you think Lisa will be invited to the Mitchell Christmas dinner?
She'll turn up, won't she? Yeah. With Louise and the baby. Or she'll say something and Keanu will do a funny face and Phil will suddenly look and work it out himself and tip the table up.
Yeah, I mean, Mel's only worked out that the baby could possibly be Keanu's by the look, and a conversation at the bar, wasn't it? And they kind of gave each other a hug and a kind of consolement, and that's how Mel worked out immediately. So, Phil's not stupid. He was, as I say, he was doing his detective work. He had his little flat cap on, and he was going around houses to houses looking for information.
And he threatened Keanu and said,
He did. He said, yeah, you tell me now what you know.
You want any chance?
Yes.
And he didn't. Oh, blank slate Keanu.
I know. Keanu's like a roller coaster of emotion, isn't he? He's like, one minute, one minute he's angry and upset, and next minute he's upset because his baby's come out. God knows what he's going to be like when Sharon has hers.
No, it's a girl. Louise had a girl in the end. Yeah, that's how the week ended, with the revelation that Sharon's biding her time on Lisa not hurting Louise's feelings.
Well, she's playing a very risky game, that she's gambling on the fact, as you say, that Lisa won't say anything. But what were the reasons for Lisa knowing, for Lisa finding out by Sharon? We'd love to know what you guys think too.
Keeping on the side of the Mitchells, we've got Ben's sort of side of the storyline with Copper Callum.
CC. Old CC himself, Copper Callum. Don't mess with Callum if he's got a banana in his hand, not his mouth.
That's later.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a quite nice scene with the four young ones-ish.
The only young ones.
No
they're
one's
all,
left
they're all
alive.
leaving. Yeah, we're all leaving, or just not being included.
So that was nice where they were doing some sort of hostage situation, some training for Callum.
Well,
he's been jogging as well.
Yeah, he's doing his police assessment. The whole time, whenever I see Callum at the moment, he's like, comes in and he's always saying, oh, I'm doing this for my police assessment. I just think of the Police Academy theme tune in my head. I just don't know why. I just hear it every time.
I feel robbed that we missed out on a Callum jogging scene, though.
Well, you got to see him sway.
Yeah, but we saw him run twice at his wedding. That was
that's true.
I want to see him jogging around the square. How dare they?
Do you reckon his technique's the same?
Yes.
Hands by side and.
And we saw it when he went after Bobby on the train, but we haven't seen him jogging around the square. So I feel robbed of that. Of Callum, but he's doing his training and he's doing like hostage situations, and Ben's sort of loving it.
Well, Ben's
the role play,
encouraging him, and he's trying to do his best for him, and that's the sweetest thing, really. If you think about it, it's so sweet. And throughout the week, Ben keeps saying, "I'm trying to go straight, I'm trying to be clean," and everything's going against me. Like the whole world's telling me that I shouldn't be doing this.
Because our lovely Tubbs is back.
Yes.
New wardrobe this week, I noticed.
Yeah.
His first outfit change, so maybe he's here for a bit longer because they've bought him some new wardrobe.
He needs some headshots, though. We need some photo shots. Then we know he's there for sure.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
He needs to be stood outside Wolford Station, looking a bit broody. They always do the shots in the same places. Wolford Station, community centre, and if you're getting a job or buying the Vic, outside the Vic. And the park, sorry. And the square, the middle square.
The Square Gardens.
Yes, which will
That's
be...
the most famous.
Oh, I'd love to have a photo there, wouldn't you? Stood in front of the Albert Square sign.
So yeah, Tubbs is there, and he's obviously inherited Ben's business. He's found out that Callum is trained to be a policeman, so now like no one wants to work with the Mitchells because they've got a copper on site.
Yeah, Tubbs has basically let out the secret. His loose lips have sunk some ships.
No, I thought Tubbs was a mate of Ben's.
Well, no.
She doesn't run that deep, does it?
No, because when Ben gave him the business for the money lending, Tubbs thought, okay, great, clean break, I can start this business. And then Ben said, no, you're going to give up on Karen. And he got a bit antsy about that. He didn't like the fact that Ben seemed to be pulling the strings. And so as a punishment, he then started telling everyone about Ben's involvement with a copper.
A male copper.
Yes. which I don't think is a problem for Tubbs that they were together, was it?
No, Tubbs loves it.
Yeah.
He's one of them, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, they shared a cell. No one knows what went on.
That's like a plot for a pornography film. It really is.
When Ben smelt queer on Callum all those months ago, 6 months ago, he said, when I was in prison, all those lads getting hot under the colour, he was talking about Tubbs, I can tell you. So yeah, talking about Tubbs, I can tell you that.
Oh, right.
Fan fictions will let you know.
So do you think... Yes, it's not. So you think that Tubbs is jealous then of this relationship? He thinks he can do better with him?
Yeah, I'd like to see Tubbs and Ben together, actually.
Do you think? Could you imagine if that's how their relationship? Like, basically, Ben's like, I can't be good and straight anymore. I can't be on the narrow path of righteousness. I need to be bad. I need to be crooked. Come here, Tubbs. Douche.
And then Martin starts getting jealous because he likes Tubbs now as well, doesn't he?
Well, they become real BFFs next week. Spoiler.
And obviously the hashtag will be Bubs, which I love. Ben and Tubbs, Bubs.
Or Mubs, Martin and Tubbs. Or Tartan.
One at a time.
What's happening with
Bubs.
these hashtags?
Bubs
this
is the
getting
best.
out of hand.
Ben and Tubbs, Bubs. BUBS.
People are starting to use Mubi.
Oh, yeah.
Have you noticed that on Twitter? People are actually using Mubi.
And we've got Baron with Karen and Billy.
Baron? Baron Karen? That seems a bit unfair.
Baroness. Baroness Baron. Karen.
Baroness Karen. Okay, great.
Anyway, let's continue talking about what we're talking about, the storyline of Ben going straight. Because Phil had another human characteristic with him this week. He wasn't a thug. He was quite sympathetic to Ben. Had a little
Christmas
joke about being bent.
Yeah. He said, just what we need in the family, a bent copper. No offence.
So does Phil think Callum's going to be giving them like inside information for the family at this moment?
No. He basically, I think, Ben's written himself out of the family now, hasn't he? He kind of did this declaration in front of Tubbs with Shirley to say, I've got nothing to do with Phil anymore.
Car place.
Yeah,
Archers.
the Archers. I've got basically all Phil's business. It doesn't involve me at all. So if you want to deal with Phil, you're not dealing with someone who's got a copper on your side. So, but no, I think it was just a joke, wasn't it? Meaning Ben as in gay, copper.
Okay. I thought Phil was under the illusion that they got a man on the inside now. That's why he's so happy.
No, I don't think so.
Callum's not like that.
No, but Callum would never be like that. He's not Jack, is he? I love the way Jack was like, ask Callum now for like intel, like inside information.
I know. Your police training. What do you think about Leah?
Yeah, you're almost a police officer. What do you think of this? It just seems so funny.
I can't wait to see how quickly EastEnders write in that Callum's now a policeman. I'm just waiting to see how quickly they actually do it. How quickly can they fool us that he can be trained as a policeman?
I've got a feeling...
Less than a year?
No, I've got a feeling that something's going to happen, that he's going to not be able to become a policeman, because he's only training at the moment. He's not actually on any kind of formal police training.
I doubt it.
He's just getting ready for the testing to get him onto the formal training.
The well-known hostage situation training that he'll go through.
Absolutely, we all do it. I had to do it for a retail job recently.
But yeah, bless Callum.
Yeah.
Don't think he'll go far.
I just don't think he'll cut it. I don't think Callum could cut it.
Suit him. He's
not
too
a police
soft.
officer. And a paramedic? Totally, I see that. So,
caterer, yes.
Yeah. Funeral director, why not? But I don't think he's right for a police officer as a character either. So it would work out well, really, with the story if he doesn't make it and he just decides.
But the one good thing, it means that Ben isn't like doing this bad stuff, which I much prefer Ben when he's not trying to be gangstery.
Well, the dark spirit has just come out of Ben and gone into Martin, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about those anymore. We've talked enough about Ben being written as 3 different characters in the past 6 months. So he's on the straight and narrow. Hopefully his character direction is going to see some actual one direction now and not be splintered off by all these different writers.
Hopefully.
That's the end of that.
Fingers crossed.
So really quickly, we've got a storyline that just came out on Friday randomly at the end of the week of Jean. She's got one more chemo session left.
Just to remind us.
And she is doing that volunteering, which she mentioned like ages ago. We've just not heard of it since.
But she's testing her volunteering in the waiting room with her new friend.
That isn't official volunteering then?
That was just her just saying hello.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's obviously, as you say, to lead to then when she does her volunteering.
Oh, I thought she'd already been doing it because Kat was like, are you going to carry on doing it?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, no, she was about to say, maybe she's talking about the chemo, but that's not something you choose, is it? Oh, yeah, I might carry on with the chemo. Why not?
But she's only got one session left and she sort of talks to that girl. Again, with this Jean storyline, it's not hitting things for me, so I am slightly tuning out, I will admit this, which I feel awful saying, but it's not hitting the right notes for me, so I don't really know what was said with that girl.
Well, okay, so...
Basically.
While you were paying attention to the Jags story, I was paying a bit more attention to the Jean story.
Oh,
so that's good. We work well together, don't we? It's good that we do a podcast together, isn't it? Yeah, why not? So she was basically just telling them the story of when she was there having her chemo with Daniel. Daniel would hide from the nurse that he didn't particularly like very much. And they were both like, ha ha ha, what a fun guy he sounds like. What a shame that he isn't here right now. But the girl didn't realise that Daniel had
allegedly
heavily, on inverted commas, died. Jean obviously didn't realise that she didn't realise, and so that upset Jean, and then Jean suddenly remembering her own mortality got upset in front of the doctor saying, everyone's excited for me because this is my last chemotherapy, but I'm worried that this won't be my last one and that
I wouldn't have got it all. And I
and
listened
so
to that bit.
Oh, okay.
Just the woman I didn't listen to.
But so I think that we're just being reminded that Daniel's story is still hovering out there. So I still stand that Daniel will be coming back and will be discovered at some point in 2020. And with that, I drop the mic and I leave the room.
Or if not coming back, he's just going to die and something will happen with Jean. I don't know if we will see him on screen again. I don't know.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? His cancer is terminal. He
will
die from it. So, well, yes. Otherwise, Jean finds out through a means somehow that he actually has now properly died, which will be a really weird ending, and I don't like that very much. I'd rather she finds out that Daniel is still alive
and goes to see him, or
and also then and then also he can kind of untangle that cryptic message he left her on that memory stick when he says "be more Jean" and something, because that's still in Jean's mind too. She doesn't really understand what he was saying. She thought she understood what he was saying, but she doesn't understand what he was saying. So
someone needs to work that out. That thing, that radio playing.
Yeah.
So she has to show it to someone else. But I'm still...
because that's the hint, isn't it? That
there's something in there which is going to hint that it was filmed after he died.
Yes.
But I'm still going by the fact that she'll volunteer one day and see him in the hospice or something.
Oh yeah, something
It'll
like
be
that.
something like that.
But I'd rather they did it, as you say, that Jean watched the video one more time and she's like, hang on a minute, that calendar says November 25th or something like that. And she'll be like, he died October, da-da-da-da. And then it'll be like, da-da-da, and then she'll work it out all together.
The story beats of this Jean storyline, I don't know how you feel, but it seems to be like Kat just said, oh, your last chemo's today. I was like, oh, I don't really feel like I've been on this journey with Jean, like, at all. Like, she's just been getting on with it. And then now it's the end. It seems a bit like, I don't know. I would have thought, when it was announced, I really thought I would be really attached to the storyline and really sad. But it's just really not felt anything with me. It's just, she's just been sort of sitting on the kitchen table, getting on with it for weeks, and then that's it.
Kitchen table.
Like, they've not really gone into, like, what stage cancer she had, or, like, they haven't gone into anything with us. We don't know anything about it. And I just feel it's a bit of a missed opportunity, this is.
I suppose we've not really been on the journey with Jean that you expected the journey to be.
Like, we had that O2 thing and her list of things, and then we just had nothing, and now that's it.
I think it's a shame with the Daniel story that what made this for me a bit more easily to relate to was the fact that you saw this companion story with her and Daniel. And again, which we mentioned quite a lot last week, the story ended very quickly and it seemed to prematurely end. And I think if they had carried on this journey with Jean's cancer and Daniel, I think that you would have been ultimately rewarded with a much greater goal if then Daniel had died after Jean had discovered that she had been cleared from her cancer. So again, giving it just maybe a couple 3 more months, which is why, again, not to bang on the drum all the time, I don't think we've seen the end of this Daniel story, and that's why we keep being reminded of it. I agree with you that they seem to have gone very quiet with Jean's story recently, but then the Mitchell story and Sharon's story and Mel's story has kind of taken prominence over everything else, which is understandable. Yeah, but it's understandable because they've obviously wanted to make them the high octave stories since September time to kind of get it in line with Christmas. But at the same time, it would have been nice to have a very caring and considerate cancer storyline, which we could all relate to, which we were getting on board with, and we were really happy that Jean was having, and then it's kind of just fallen a bit flat.
Fizzled out. And Aid Esmondson did an interview recently, the guy who plays Daniel. I mean, he said something quite interesting in the quote where he said when he was approached for this storyline, he was approached to it as its own story, and he said basically you could take out all Daniel's bits, put them together, and it will just be a little story. So that's the way it does feel as well. It feels so disconnected, and like we didn't really get to see Daniel that much. But the way he talks, it sounds like he's over, like, the show.
Yeah. Daniel was very disconnected from a lot of characters. Like, very rarely had scenes on the square. Like, if he did have scenes on the square, it would be in the cafe, but they would be isolated on their own in the corner, occasionally shouting out at Rainey, for instance, like kind of telling her how poor her service was, but never a real true interaction. A lot of their scenes would always be in the hospital, wouldn't they? And they'd be
like their own condensed little
as you say,
story.
Yeah.
So I found it interesting when he said that. Obviously, it was pitched to him in that way to get him like on board or the show or whatever.
Yeah.
So interesting, but yeah, not hitting the right notes for me, I'm afraid. It's hard to make me emotional when this isn't doing it.
Yeah, but that's just a matter of fact anyway. I don't think I've ever seen a tear come out of that eye.
Avi Branning's life support, hello.
Well, yeah, you were a mess, but inconsolable for days.
Right, so let's go on to our second game and then we'll finish up the roundup.
So, since Christmas is on its way, Ben, I thought I'd give you a little treat.
Tishmas.
Merry Tishmas. And for this Tishmas, I've got a new game that's
Good.
Popping out of my brain like springs of thoughts and ideas. This game is called Dot Cotton's Connection Game.
Right. This sounds confusing.
And it is. No, it's not. It's very easy. So, I will give you up to 3 clues, and you must find the sequence from the clues and what the 4th clue would be. So the less clues you need, the more points you get. So if you get the sequence and the 4th clue by the first clue, you get 4 points. If you get it by the second clue, you get 2 points.
Like Only Connect, kind of.
It's no, not taking this. This is not a plagiarist game.
Right.
But it might be a little bit like Only Connect.
Well, I got confused with that other game we played. Top Tubs, was it?
Oh, Top Tubs.
The rhyming one? What was that? That confused me.
Oh, no, that wasn't Top Tubs. That was the Mick Carter's Monster Mash.
Yes, that confused me.
Was it Mick
That was
Carter's?
a Halloween-based game, and now we've got a Christmas-based
This
game.
isn't
It sounds confusing.
This isn't specifically Christmas, and to be fair, Monster Mash might come back over Christmas as well.
Oh, good.
The Christmas Clash, maybe. That's a good name. I'm taking that. So you understand the rules then. So anyone in the UK who's seen the series Only Connect, it's that, basically.
Right.
It's the second round. So you get 4 points for 1 clue, 2 points for using 2 clues, 1 point for using 3 clues, and you get an extra point for knowing the 4th thing in the sequence.
Right.
Okay? So you need
going to go well.
So you need to tell me what the sequence is and what the 4th answer in the sequence would be. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Here's the first one. I think this is an easy first one. Here we go.
There's more than one.
There's 3.
Oh, God.
There's 3 different games. So
Okay.
First one, Dan and Angie Watts. That's clue 1.
Landlord and Landlady of the Vic.
Correct. So what would the 4th answer be? So if they
Nick
were
and Linda.
No. So if they were the landlords and ladies of the Queen Vic in chronological order. So Dan and Angie was first.
Okay, yeah, then Pat and Frank.
Yeah.
Sharon, Eddie. But he's only one.
Third.
Okay, and then it'll be Sharon and Grant.
Sharon, Grant and Phil.
Yeah.
That's it. See, you got the answer. That's the game.
Okay.
So you get all 5 points for that.
Good.
Yeah, see? Easy peasy. I told you the first one's easy. Here's the second one. So the first clue is Gemma in the canal.
Gemma?
Mm-hmm. In the canal. If you need another clue, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh dear, this knocks your points down to 2.
That's right.
Clue 2 is sugar in the canal. I wonder if anyone at home listening to this knows the answer to this. Whether they know the link and the 4th answer.
In the canal. I don't know. Den was in the canal. His body. Is that it?
No. How's that linked? How's
I
Gemma?
don't know. I don't know who Gemma is.
Do you want your third clue?
Yeah.
Okay. Third clue. Owen Turner under a tree.
Where people were buried? Where people died?
Yes.
Who's Gemma?
But who ultimately...
What's the second one? Sugar?
Yeah, so the first one is Gemma in the canal, Sugar in the canal, Owen Turner under a tree. So you're right, but who ultimately had their hands on these deaths?
Lucas.
Yes. So it's from the most recent.
So the 4th one will be, I don't know her name, and The Shed, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know the woman's name who got a rake in her neck.
Trina Johnson.
Right.
There you go. 2 points.
No, who's Sugar? No.
Sugar was Jordan's dog who was burying. So they're in reverse order. So when he killed Owen and put him under the tree in the square, Sugar the dog started burying up the body. So the only way Lucas could think of stopping the dog was by throwing him in the canal and killing him. And he said he ran away.
I missed the Lucas storyline, you see.
Yeah.
It's not good for me.
So there we go. That's the connection. So the connection was that these were victims to Lucas Johnson from the most recent. It was Gemma, prostitute who looked like Denise, who was killed in the canal. Sugar.
Like they all do.
Of course. Sugar, Jordan's dog, who was killed in the canal. Owen Turner, who was strangled and then buried under a tree after his wedding day. And Trina Johnson, who was found in the shed after she stabbed herself, essentially, with a rake. That's good. You're doing all right.
So 2 points then.
2 points there. So 7 out of 10 so far. Last one. Here we go. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Clue 1. Bill. 1968 to 1991.
1968 to what?
1991. Do you want a second clue?
Yeah.
So this is for 2 points now. Second clue. Mitchell. 1995 to 1999. You'll kick yourself.
Bill?
So Bill, 1968 to 1991.
Right.
Mitchell, 1995 to 1999. You can have one more clue if you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah? Sullivan, 2001 to 2016.
Gavin.
Mm.
So is this people who were... Oh, Pete Bill. I thought it was Bill as in B-I-L-L.
Mm-mm.
So it's people that Kathy's been married to. And the dates they were married. Or dating.
I was a bit more specific. So what was the last...
That's quite specific.
Wait, yeah, no, you need... Their surname Kathy Hills went by after her first marriage.
Okay.
So what's the
So Bill
fourth answer?
again.
Yeah, 2000... So Bill...
2015? 16 to
present.
current.
Yeah, there you go. That's the
Forever.
answer. That's clue number 4. So you got that one. So you got that for 2 points as well.
See, I would have been able to get that if I saw the spelling.
Unfortunately, no. So
I thought you meant like The Bill, the TV show The Bill.
Well, surely you got it though from Mitchell.
No.
So
Because I was thinking
Bill.
of Eddie Royal because he was in The Police and that's The Bill.
Okay.
I was very confused.
I wouldn't use Eddie
And he
Royal
died
twice,
in
though.
91, so...
Oh, so you thought, how the heck, what
Oh,
link
I
were you
don't
going with that
know.
then? So Eddie Royal. So there you go. So yeah, Pete Bill's clue 1, Phil Mitchell's clue 2, Gavin Sullivan. And the final answer would be Bill, and his surname's Kathy took from her first marriage. So you got 9 out of 15.
Mm.
I wonder how many people, let us know, send us an email or Twitter, find us on Twitter and Instagram. Let us know how you got on, whether you got full marks, whether you got all 3 of those from the very first clue. Because I'll be
Doubt
interested
it.
in it. I reckon they were doable if you know your stuff.
If I had the spelling of Bill, then yeah. but
Well,
if spell them out next time.
I'll play this again and I'll actually spell it out in front of you so you can play. There you go. So, get in touch. Let us know how you got on. If you have any ideas that I could use just to help me out and use them against Ben, then send them my way. And that was Doc Cotton's Connection Game.
So Callum wasn't the only one running this week, because Martin apparently jogs as well.
Yeah, everyone needs to keep fit. Well, this is the new Martin, isn't it? This is the new lean machine, grilling,
God.
Yeah, punching people.
Not much of a dad bod from what I can see.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of attention online, isn't he? Loads of people are getting quite saucy over Martin.
Yeah.
So they want some Martin sauce on their chips.
Fowler.
Oh yeah, sprinkle some of that on my dinner, thank you very much.
What would Arthur say? He'd be jealous, wouldn't he?
He would. He's not like his dad at all, is he?
No, bless him. But yeah, we had like a mini. Obviously, last week ended on the Martin and Ruby sleeping together more than once, apparently, that night.
Yes, gosh, that's another thing. Martin's got the stamina.
Unlike Max.
Yeah, Max can barely go one night before he becomes a shriveled up shrimp.
But yeah, Ruby was top form again this week. I enjoyed her. She stood up to Max, made him look like a fool. Because Max found out about Ruby spending the night somewhere and wearing the same clothes back home, even though she stayed at her own house.
Well, yeah, I know. So she could have got her own clothes from her flat, but nope. Because
Martin wouldn't let her go, you see.
That's right. He's like, I want you to wear the same as you wore last night. I like the smell of you. Mick noticed she came in late, so he automatically thought that she cheated and spent the night with Max. Tells Max, oh, you've been a naughty boy. Max is like, hang on, I haven't been a naughty boy. What's going on here? I was getting your wife drunk. And yeah, Max has basically been punished for years and years and years of doing exactly what he's done to many, many other men and women in his life. And Ruby was like, you know what, Max? I don't care. I'm glad that you know.
That was so well done when he came in and said, I know. And she was like, I'm not going to lie to you. I did this, and this.
Yeah, which really hurt Max. I know. Max is like, but I'm Max. I'm Max bloomin' Branning. You're meant to love me and worship me. I asked you to marry me and I love you. And Ruby's like, yeah, well, bad luck.
Casual. So her theory was that it was a casual thing. They were dating so she can sleep with other people.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he can as well. I mean, it was never really said. And obviously Max did see it as a more serious relationship because he did propose to her recently.
Well, I just think that he likes attaching himself to this young woman. He thinks that everyone around him is probably thinking, wow, Max Branning with this younger girl, what a guy. And in actual fact, Ruby the whole time is just taking the mick and just laughing
but
at him.
they're still together. Like, Ruby's like, oh yeah, we're still together. So it's really like weird.
Yeah, but Ruby's saying it's
what it is.
It's what it is. But it's not really a relationship. They're just good friends but they can still kind of see other people. I mean, because they're not.
Yeah.
Well, because Ruby's not living with Max. Ruby has her own flat, as you know.
Her own money.
Yep.
Her own business.
Yep. So she's her own independent, strong woman. Yeah. Why not?
But yeah, I love that. And then Max tried, because it obviously didn't work with Ruby. He then tried to put down Martin, because Martin's pushover, but Martin wasn't having it either at E20.
New Martin.
Yeah. Because the best line was when Max was going all at it, and then he was like, oh, you've just done it once. You were just a rebound. And he was like, we did it more than once, Max. And that really hurt Max.
God, it destroyed him. His sexual ego was killed. And the fact that Max just said to him, well, don't do it again. And Martin was just like, well, you know what? I actually stand my chances against you, Max. So you say what you like. I'm not scared of you.
But he's such a hypocrite because he literally slept with Stacey last year.
Yeah.
And he was walking around saying to Martin, you shouldn't do this. I'll let this one slip this one time, but don't you dare do it again. It's like, go away, Max. Really?
Max just can't stand it. Max cannot stand that he's basically getting a huge, great big dollop of his own medicine on a humble pie in front of him. He is just being called out for how pathetic he is and how sad he is because of the age that he shouldn't be doing this. He needs to settle down. He should
be settled down by now.
But he's been given 3 chances if you think about it in the time he's returned since he basically killed everyone on the square during the dark era. Yeah,
Bingate.
And he had it with Rainey and just used her and destroyed her. He then had it with some French woman who we didn't really meet, then tried again with Rainey, and it's just...
then went on dates with people on that app.
Which Rainey understood, but then he said...
He was with Rainey.
but then he was like, oh no, I can't do this to Rainey, I feel bad, but then did it anyway. It's like, yeah, I'm glad I'm perfect that Martin is getting this middle
Revenge,
finger to Max. I think it's spot on. It's perfect. And it's what we all wanted to happen. And it couldn't have happened even in an even better place that he was being told by Mick that his girlfriend is basically sleeping with another man in the urinals of the toilets. So he probably stank
we had to
as
witness like him weeing as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much.
So good. I'm glad everything that's happened to Max in this week is deservedly
and
so.
his car window got smashed in just to set that off. So that was good too.
Yep. Apparently by Martin, because he kind of knowingly nodded at him as well. Was like, all right, Max. Oh, that's unfortunate. And then walked on.
Maybe Tubbs did it as a mate. Martin's a mate. I'll do it, Martin.
Yeah. Well, I would. If Martin asked me to throw a brick in Max's window, I'd say, sure, just a window, not his face.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy to do so. No charge. I'll do it for an apple.
So we've got the Carters. Linda's spiraling out of control, 1,000 miles an hour. Yes. The storyline's just snowballing like crazy, I feel.
It is Christmas, though. You have a little bit extra over Christmas. You have a...
Mulled wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't even realise.
I don't blame Linda in a funny way, because obviously she's meant to be on a detox with Mick, and so on Mick's suggestion, and Linda's begrudgingly doing this detox, then goes off shopping with Sharon, which is a dangerous combination to start with in the first place. Especially if Sharon wasn't pregnant, she'd be there on the mulled wine just with her. They'd be taking the train, downing it together.
I mean, Sharon must have been driving, mustn't she?
No, I think they got taxis, didn't they?
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, because Sharon came home on her own. So Linda must have had to catch a taxi back later on her own.
Because Sharon had a little comment about Linda having a lot to drink while they were out.
Well, no, she just said that there was mulled wine samples and that she left Linda to them. So that's what I mean. I think Linda kind of targeted this person with a tray. Because you know what samples are like. They're like, medicine cups when you have on the top of the bottle and you kind of fill them up 25 millilitres and you then down the night nurse. They're only that's all their sample is. So Linda must have literally been stacking them up and having one after the other by the amount that she ended up seemingly having at the shopping trip.
Yeah, while she was out, we had this weird storyline of Mick and Mitch, where obviously we know Mitch has been dating Ollie's teacher, so they're like doing this weird thing where they're trying to bribe her into giving Ollie like a learning award because he's not won one yet, and that's what's been upsetting Linda.
Although forgetting also that Bailey has been upset recently that he's not spending any time with her. And
he's on a date.
Yeah, that's it. And now another 2 nights given up by them having this stupid escapade where Mick is trying to get his son Ollie the learner of the week.
Mitch, I just hate Mitch. He just doesn't work for me.
I mean, I'm not angry at Mitch as a character for this story. I'm just angry at the story. It's just filler, isn't it?
Yeah, it's filler. We're waiting until Christmas, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But it shouldn't be like this at December, but...
It's so silly because like the beginning of the week we're back on track with the Linda storyline. We're learning that her alcoholism is becoming a bigger problem than we first thought. Mick has spotted it, which is great.
That's what I mean by the storyline moving so quickly. Mick's already spotted it and is like...
But in a funny way, that's great for me because I don't like it when they keep hiding things from one another. Like the Carters, every time they're in a big
week.
epidemic, exactly, they're always like, no more secrets, no more hiding anything. Mick has openly told Linda that he knows that pretty much given the indication that he knows that she's got this alcohol problem. Linda realises this, so they knowingly agree that they're going to go on this detox. Then the rest of the week is just this filler of them trying to get Ollie to have learner of the week.
He's learner of the year. So.
No, he's learner of the term. He's not quite that good. He's a hard worker. He's a good lad, but he's not the year. Just a term.
I loved how for the story, like the teacher was really like bitchy and antsy, like for 3 episodes, and then suddenly on the last scene, she was like all of a sudden really nice and supportive of Ollie. Like,
yeah, but she wasn't of Mitch, was she? She was a bit like, Mitch went to lean in for a kiss, and she was like, yeah, I'll see you later. I like the way she told Miss Gardiner was her name. I like the way she told them both off as well, as if they were 2 children in his class as well. And they're like, and Mitch snitched on Mick. Mitch the snitch. There you go. That's something to start calling him. And she basically. They were just acting like 2 adolescents, just messing around and being naughty. But yes, as you say, they discovered that Ollie is better than the week. He's a term kind of guy.
He is. And that obviously made Linda proud. And Tina sort of said to Mick, oh, it doesn't matter, it's Christmas, just let her drink. So he got her a champagne bottle.
Yeah, but not before Tina had mocked her for...
No, I thought it was a
saying-
bit weird.
Yeah,
In like the same breath, basically.
yeah, Tina was like, "Oh, I see, she's drunk again. Ha 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 ha. Oh, it doesn't matter." It was very much an Ian. It was very much a Pete Bill kind of conversation.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
that is.
"Oh, she's drunk. Oh, don't worry, she's gonna have a drink." And so, yeah, it seemed a bit silly of Tina. But then again, this is how Tina's character has suddenly become. It's just basically this one line where she gives varying opinions in this one
then
long
walks
extended
off.
sentence, and then walks off as if nothing's been said or happened.
Same as Dottie, really. They're like the same things, not really needed. But no, she was getting drunk behind the bar, not very professional. All the punters was kind of noticing she was drunk and
She
making a
made
bit of a
that
fool of herself.
weird speech, didn't she? When she started crying and saying, she's so proud of her son, and no one seemed to care, which seemed a bit cruel. And I did kind of feel for Linda when she said, "Oh, I thought this was a community area. I thought we all looked after each other, and no one seems to care about my son." And everyone just kind of silently said nothing. There was a lot of extras in there, though. To be fair, I think if they had more of the main cast,
That was lucky, yeah.
yeah, I think they would have had. I think they would have had a better opportunity for a bit of an applause. I did like the two people clapping as well. I enjoyed that.
That was probably Tina and Shirley.
Well, Shirley was busy at the garage.
Yeah, with her leathers and new outfit, so
yeah.
that's nice. And also in the Vic most of this week, we had Leo and Whitney sitting there for a little drink. And I was getting more and more confused with Leo because he was having like lots of facial reactions to things that Whitney was saying.
Yeah.
And I can't for the life of me work out if he's falling for her or not believing her, or
Yeah.
I have no idea what he's thinking. So it's really hard to like work out what he was just sat there like reacting to all these things she was saying, and I don't know what I'm meant to be feeling from this.
No, I agree with you. It was really odd, wasn't it? Because like when she was telling him the story of where she helped this elderly woman and she gave this T-shirt away for free, and then the elderly woman bought her a car, and she was like, "Oh, I was meant to be saving you money, ha ha ha." And the whole time, Leo, he seemed quite
Like
sentimental.
lovingly look at her,
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, actually, you are a kind girl," and he was almost like tormented in his own mind, like, "Oh, maybe my dad was wrong about Whitney, and maybe Whitney is a good girl and a good person."
But then he started telling the story about the case that Jack warned her about, and he told her that this person was in prison, she died in prison, and she was innocent. And that's like his dad. So it's like, I have no idea what he's thinking.
But then he was doing that to deliberately stop Jack from telling her that same story. And so almost being the first to pull the punch before Jack had the opportunity to. So in Jack's mind, he feels that she's being manipulated by him. While Whitney, I don't know, it's weird, isn't it? Because I don't know if was Leo doing that with good intentions, just because he
just don't know,
does like Whitney. Yeah, so he does like Whitney and wants to kind of stop Jack from interfering. And also when Callum walked into the pub, and this is when Jack had his chat with Callum, and Callum's like, "I don't trust the guy. There's something wrong with him. He's a wrong un."
It was Whitney just walked past Callum, didn't even look at him.
Well, they're on bad terms now.
God.
After Leo showed that video. Again, not really discussed that very
Maybe
much.
Leo should send that to the police interview. Say, this is your candidate.
Well, yeah.
This is going to happen, isn't it? That's what Leo would do, 'cause he's a little bitch.
Yeah, you're right there, actually. That could happen. Especially since Jack's interfering, and Jack's putting not his career on the line, but he's championing Callum to become a police officer too.
His little apprentice.
It is, isn't it? And so almost to hurt Jack as well as Callum, as well as then kind of sticking the divide further between Whitney and Jack and Callum. Yeah, maybe Leo will show in the social media video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on social media, so really that's a dangerous thing unless Callum has asked his friend to take it down, which I guess he
got
hasn't.
A copy. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
He's got a copy.
yeah.
One thing I took away is that Whitney has her classic hair back.
Yeah, you were really happy about that, weren't you?
She went to go see her lovely brother Ryan and his new wife. No Ryan. I'd like a Ryan return if anyone's listening.
I've been watching a lot of old clips recently, and I've seen a lot of Ryan.
Oh yeah, was his top off?
Quite a bit. There was one moment when he was running around the square naked.
Oh yeah.
Just before his wedding with Janine.
That's what we need.
The same night Janine was sleeping with another man.
Fool. Poor little Ryan.
I know. Don't write stories like that anymore, do we?
But yeah, that was Whitney and Leo, and then obviously Jack tried to warn her again about him, but he'd already told her the story and won her heart. So.
Yeah.
But it's hard to know what Leo's sort of thinking. I really don't know. I mean, next week his mum arrives, so obviously we'll get a bit more insight next week.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's one of the actors from Smack the Pony, isn't it? Oh yeah, that'd be good. I mean, yeah, it'd be difficult to watch her though without thinking of Smack the Pony.
So that's our week all wrapped up. So we're going to go on to get your comments and see who won the week.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
Yes, it's the end of the show where we read out your tweets, your comments on Instagram and our Facebook group, and we find out who has won the week with our votes on all those social medias too. But before we do any of that, as always, we go back in time, we moonwalk our way to the past with Ben as we find out who won the week in past weeks of this time last year.
Yes, that's correct. Got 2 birthdays to go through first, and that is Minty's birthday, 2nd of December 1957.
Oh, right. He's celebrating it in the forest, is he?
He is with Lauren.
Yes, he is. Anyone outside the UK who doesn't get that joke, they're doing I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, which is a reality show in the UK.
And that guy from Corrie, don't know his name, Kirk. Is that his name?
Oh, yeah, Kirk. Yeah, he's doing it too. Yeah.
8th of December 1992, Whitney Dean, her birthday.
Oh, wow.
On Sunday.
Oh.
So it's going to be an off-screen birthday, I feel. Because they don't really show Sundays.
No, but maybe they could comment. Maybe Leo might take her for a meal. Yeah. Might buy those fish and chips she was eating.
And we've got one death, which also leads onto the episode that I did. And I did cheat a bit because it's the 9th of December. So it is technically next week. But I couldn't miss out on old Pete Dean.
Oh.
His death.
What? I'm dead. I can't be dead. I'm never dead.
So Pete's been on the run with his new girlfriend for months.
Oh, yeah.
He's in hiding because her ex is like after them and he's died in prison. So Pauline's like, Pete, you can come back home to Wolford, it's safe. So he's coming back and they're all arranging a big welcome home party for old Pete.
Oh, hooray.
And Cindy goes into early labour with the twins, which is called Peter and Lucy.
There's only one of them left.
So obviously they get the news that Pete has died when the police knock on Pauline's door and she's very upset. Ian comes into the house thinking that she's upset because she's happy that he's now got twins, just like Pete and Pauline.
Yes.
But it turns out that no, sadly, Pete has passed away off screen. So yeah, poor Pete.
Off screen?
I know, not good.
Means he could come back.
Well, he could come back because he could be faking his death because of the whole weird situation with his ex.
Similar to Kathy.
Yeah.
Wanting to fool everyone.
So Pete can come back, but as far as we know, he died in a horrible car crash with the woman.
What?
How do you feel about Pete's death? Has it hurt you?
I feel devastated and upset. I mean, if anyone wants to catch the scenes, they can go to our Twitter, can't they, to see, because you've done a short
clip. Our Facebook
clip.
Group, but yes.
Yes. But all the details of that will be at the end of the show, so you can find them that way. Little interesting tidbit I thought I'd throw up in the air whilst before I go through the nominees for Who Won the Week. Friday's episode was the first episode where John Sen had been credited as executive producer more times than Kate Oates.
Oh, that explains it.
83 times to 82.
Oh dear.
So
about 80 episodes I noticed a decline.
Did you?
No,
was it about 83?
I'm going to go back 80 episodes and see the how different the show was.
You should actually go back 83 episodes and see.
Old Kate not pulling her weight.
Lazy old mare.
I know.
No, she's very busy. She's doing everything. She's senior executive producer, but not just for.
She's head of like drama, isn't she now?
I think she's head of
again.
I think she's head of the BBC. To be quite frank,
she owns the BBC.
she just runs the BBC
on a 1-year contract.
Right. So Who Won the Week? 4 stories. Here they are. Honey's Bin Adam's Gone.
Yeah, that was good.
Mac's Sheepish Shuffle.
That wasn't good because it's Max, but it was good.
I hate his shuffle. His feet. You can always hear his feet before you hear him. You literally hear, before Max enters a room, you can hear us shuffling toward one. Phil's Sleuthing / Lose Baby.
Yeah, that was good.
And Leo's Jacked Up.
No, didn't understand his facial acting.
Okay. Facial acting means a lot to you, doesn't it? I'm going to ask you, who won the week? Who won the week this week?
Honey. Let's give her a go.
Billy certainly would like to have. Yep, she won the week for 66% of the vote.
Oh my goodness. Honey.
Phil's Sleuthing Lose Baby got 24%. In third place was Mac's Sheepish Shuffle with 7%.
Leo's not last again, is he?
And Leo's last again with
always comes last.
3%. I don't think the story is captivating people.
No,
I'll be honest with you.
It always has like 1%.
It's always very low.
Yeah.
It's always really
every week.
Low. So
well.
There you go. There's what people voted on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
This is a year-long storyline.
I know. So fasten your seatbelts because there's going to be a lot of 1% coming your way. Do you want to hear some comments from people?
Yeah, I guess.
Why not? On Twitter, @MissJD said, considering all Sharon's been through, you'd think that she'd be the one who'd gone into early labour.
After that car crash, you think she would have?
I know. The trauma of that would push the baby out in itself. The actual sudden jerk from breaking. You know, just pop out a baby. Be like, have you ever seen The Human Centipede 3? Is it the
Not
third one? It's either the third one or the second one where the woman gives birth and then...
I can't remember that.
Well, I better not go any further. It's a bit gross.
But obviously Sharon's a very good driver, so that wouldn't happen. She did a nice slow emergency stop.
She did.
Not hair out of place.
She learned that from Grant. At Matt19020 on Twitter said, any episode where Max is thoroughly embarrassed is good fun.
That's true.
Couldn't agree with you more. Richard Gold on our Facebook group said, Tuesday's episode was one of my favourite this year. Honey was amazing.
Well, it's just nice to see Honey all powerful.
I love a bit of Honey.
Dottie doesn't.
No. Gina on our Facebook group said, I'm going to use that "yeah, I slept with him, so what" line on Ruby with my next boyfriend.
Same.
Yeah, I think it makes good sense. About Linda's storyline, at Sean CLA author tweeted, great point. I've never been convinced by this Linda storyline. It reminds me of Lauren Branning's alcoholism when Tanya was drinking more than Lauren but said nothing. They haven't done a realistic portrayal of alcoholism since Phil in the 90s.
Yeah, I agree. It's the whole Linda alcohol storyline has just been plucked in a few weeks before Christmas. And I can guarantee something on Christmas Day it's going to happen involving Linda's drinking.
I don't think it's just going to be kept ringed in Christmas Day. I think it's going to spill over into New Year's as well. Like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day story. I think Christmas Day will be mainly the Mitchells with a touch of Carter's. Episode. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, big Carter story. Well, look on What's on TV magazine. They've gone for the same picture for the last 3 years. And it's the Carters with Ollie.
That's true.
At Katie Phipps said, I love that midweek episodes are so strong, if not stronger than Fridays nowadays. EastEnders is so unpredictable right now.
This Friday episode felt like a Monday. So it felt like a start of a new week to me.
Yeah, Tuesday's episode was really good. Really good. At Peter Albanese _ on Twitter said, no tweet about Louise screaming at Phil about the last time Ben had seen a lady's part was when he had a fringe. This made me laugh.
Yeah, one, it was Louise, so I feel like I don't laugh at her. And two, Ben, it wasn't that long ago Ben saw Lady Bit.
No.
Because Abby pretended she was pregnant, remember, not that long ago.
Yes, and she would have had to shown her lady bits to him at some point for that.
Also, Phil's never had a fringe. So.
Well, not that we know of. He might have had one when he was a teenager or something. But then Ben wouldn't have been born, would he? So...
Yeah, Louise, shut up.
Can you imagine if this is Louise again getting something wrong? What a surprise. Can you imagine if there was a storyline where Phil wore a toupee? So he just came to mind.
Maybe once the affairs, he'll spiral out of control and try to look all young.
Maybe. And one last thing. Obviously, they've announced that Louise is leaving, the actress. Tilly Cooper is leaving. Mm-hmm. So we put it out on our Facebook group and we asked people for some opinions. And just one that stood out, Kieran Smith said, it feels like such a waste. She was really starting to come into her own in the last few months. With the rumoured break for Letitia Dean, all the main players in the main Christmas story could be gone by the new year. Hopefully this means we can start having full-time returns, though. Oh, you gasped at Letitia Dean. Did you not know that news?
I'm still allowed to gasp.
Oh, okay.
I just think, yeah, it's such a shame because it has reminiscences of Alfie and Hayley last year where it happened and then the next episode it was never mentioned.
Yeah, that's it.
And knowing that four of the big main players, Keanu, Lisa, Louise, possibly Sharon, can't say that, but to know that all of them are going to be gone within January, February.
Yeah, a couple of months.
It's like, so there's going to be no repercussions. It's just going to be Phil walking around angry with Ben, basically.
It is mad, isn't it, that they've just basically they're having this big story. They've been building up to this huge story, and then all the characters from it are all now leaving. It's really funny, isn't
Tish
it?
Isn't. She can't leave.
Oh, she can have a bit of a rest.
No, because Sharon and Keanu are going, so she can run Wolford with her baby.
Well, she might actually have a full-time Keanu.
No, he's off too.
Oh, yeah, of course he is, sorry.
But Sharon needs to stay. There needs to be a Mitch and Wolford.
Yeah, but, I mean, this has been a long stretch for Letitia Dean, and she likes to have her breaks. So I don't know, I could see it happening.
She's allowed a few months, but she's not allowed that stupid thing she did where she was on a break and it was like 6 years.
Okay.
So there.
If Tish is listening, and I hope you don't mind me calling you Tish, Miss Dean, but if she is listening, then...
Don't go on a break.
Basically, do what Ben says. Don't go on a break. We love you, and we love your long lashes. Her lashes. When she looked down in the final scene with Lisa, they literally touched the ground. They were so long. If you want to get in touch with us, then you can. We're on Twitter at EastEnders Week. We're on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or you can find us on our Facebook group if you search EastEnders Weekly and then click to join. You're right.
I was laughing at the image of when Sharon gives birth, the baby will be born with fake eyelashes
and a blonde wig. Where else can you find us on? Oh, you can find us on YouTube. We've got a YouTube channel. We've got lots of videos. We release videos every week. We have previews. We have the podcast. We have exclusive original content. Just go to our YouTube channel by searching EastEnders Weekly Podcast. Click subscribe and ring the bell to get notifications when new videos come out. Or you can do an email. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think Sharon's baby's going to look like when it comes out. EastEndersWeekly@gmail.com. Lovely. I thought I'd give you the last word.
Yes.
Anyway,
that's the end.
Yes, I hope you all enjoyed the show. Have a great week, as always.
I'm going to go Photoshop a photo of a baby. Goodbye.